Hey people, so today's plan is to view this particular discussion, or more of a presentation by Project Shivoham, where he talks about languages that originated from Shiva Sutras. So he'll give you an idea of what Shiva Sutras are and what is part of the Shiva Sutras and how are the languages derived from it. So the YouTube channel is called Project Shivoham, which has detailed descriptions of religion and ancient Indian history. This should be interesting. Right, let me quickly share my screen.
Bharat is one of the most linguistically diverse countries in the world and is also one of the oldest continuously running civilizations in the history of mankind. And when we're talking about a civilization, the language of a civilization is the foundational bedrock that shows the maturity of that specific civilization. And the fundamental trait of any language is it evolves. It evolves over a period of time. And today in Bharat, we have hundreds of languages and thousands of dialects being spoken across the country. And that linguistic diversity incontrovertibly establishes how much of evolution our languages have undergone in Bharat for last thousands of years. And a simple sense of retrospection gives us the question, where did it all start? And this short video is an answer to that question. What is the mother root of origin of all the Indian languages that are active and being spoken today? So let's get started. Panini Maharshi, one of the finest linguists that walked this earth. In a very conservative manner, Panini Maharshi was dated approximately between 500 to 400 BCE. That's almost 2500 years ago. But he could be much older than that based on the oral historical accounts about Panini Maharshi. Almost 15 years ago, the government of India has released a postal stamp in his honor. But why? Why is that Panini Maharshi is so special? Not just within India, but he is also popular in the international academic fraternities that deal with linguistics and phonetics. Linguistics is a department that deals with the evolution and application of languages, right from historical up until contemporary purposes. So here it is. Panini Maharshi made a treatise called as Ashtadhyayi, a compendium of 8 books on Sanskritam grammar, which is the most detailed work ever made in the history of mankind on any language in the world. And it is very popular that many of the Western languages have taken inspiration from Ashtadhyayi. I've already presented a very detailed documentary on the evolution of Sanskritam. So our story starts with Panini Maharshi to understand the mother of all Indian languages.
GoDaddy देता है आपको भरोसेमंद होस्टिंग जो आप आसानी से सेटअप कर सकते हैं। पाइए 9
धृत्तावसाने नटराजराजो ननाधडक्कां नवपञ्चवाराम् उद्धत्तक्रामः सनकादिसिद्धान् ये तद्विमर्शो शिवसूत्रजालम्. This is the primordial and foundational verse that elaborates about the development of a language. The foundation for Panini's Ashtadhyayi, and the translation is, at the end of his cosmic dance, Lord Shiva, with a view to bless the sages Sanaka and Sananda and rest all of them, played his damaru 14 times, from which emerged the 14 sutras known as Shiva Sutras, and these are revered as the foundations of human speech in Bharat and are extensively elaborated by Panini in his Ashtadhyayi. And Panini's Ashtadhyayi is the foundational text for the grammar of not just Sanskritam but for every Indian language today. The principles are always derived from Panini's Ashtadhyayi. We could have our language specific principles evolved over a period of time, but the primordial source for Vyakaranam is Panini's Ashtadhyayi. Now let us see what are these 14 Shiva Sutras that form the basis for the human speech. Ayun, Ruluk, Aong, I Ouch, Hayavarat, Lana, Yamangana Nama, Jabhanya, Gadadash, Jabhagadadash, Khapa Chatatava Chatatava, Kapaya, Shashasara, Hala. These 14 groups of the aksharas, what we have here, are called as Shiva Sutras. They are not just a random arrangement of letters, but they have incredible linguistic, phonetic, and spiritual significance, the Shiva Sutras. Let's try out once more, this time from a very ancient manuscript of Panini's Ashtadhyayi. This is a recopy, but still a couple of hundreds of years old manuscript. A I Un, Ruluk E Ong, I Ouch, Hayavarat, Lana, Yamangana Nama, Jabhaya, Gadadash, Jabhagadadash, Kapa Chatatava Chatatav, Kapaya, Shashasara, Hala. These 14 Shiva Sutras are the building blocks of Panini's Ashtadhyayi, and they are so very logically grouped. They are very modular in nature when we put them to use as part of constructing the Sanskritam grammar rules. I'm sure you're wondering what these aksharas are all about. In very simple terms, these 57 aksharas or shabdas are the distinct sounds that a human vocal cord could make. Any piece of a shabda that comes out of our mouth, there are a lot of internal body parts that work together to produce these sounds, right from our lungs, diaphragm, vocal cord, nasal cavity, teeth, tongue, lips, and so on. Counting in all these factors and the body parts coming together, orchestrated in different manners, these are the distinct sounds that a human can make with his or her voice. And that's what the Shiva Sutras are. But that's a very oversimplified meaning of Shiva Sutras. It is a lot more deep, wide, and complex. And there is a huge logic behind the arrangement of these aksharas. You could do your own reading if you're interested. Say, for instance, the first Shiva Sutra says A I Una. The last akshara in every sutra is used as an end marker, so we should be considering only up until the last but one, which in this case is A, I, U, which are the primary sounds that you could make without involving your tongue, the vowels. And the vowels are not complete with the first sutra itself, it goes on. So basically, there is a logic behind the arrangement of these aksharas. And this subject of Shiva Sutras and Panini's Ashtadhyayi have been one of the core subjects of research in the field of linguistics and phonetics across the world in the academic fraternities. Here is a sample white paper from the University of Dusseldorf a couple of decades ago, a research that was done on understanding the phonetics behind the arrangement of Shiva Sutras. And as you could read, this research paper quotes that Shiva Sutras earns the universal admiration for the way these phonetics are arranged so comprehensively that it doesn't matter which language that we are referring to, whether it is Indian or not, across the world, almost every language will fit into this wider framework of as to how the aksharas could be arranged in a very efficient manner to eventually formulate the grammar rules given in Panini's Ashtadhyayi. And the most astonishing thing with Panini's Ashtadhyayi is generally language evolves over a period of time, right? So we need to rewrite our books the way we formulate our grammar rules. But Panini's Ashtadhyayi has been valid since last 2500 plus years and still continues to be the inspiration for grammar rules even till today. It is from these 14 Shiva Sutras, comprising of 57 different shabdas, is the mother root for all the Indian languages and by extension to any other language around the world will fit into this framework of these Shiva Sutras. So let's quickly try and see the Indian languages, how they evolved from the Shiva Sutras. Let's take the first sutra, for instance, A I U. The first shabda from the Shiva Sutras, A, falls down as A for all the Indian languages. And then it mixes with itself twice, as A plus A is equal to A for all the Indian languages. And then comes the second shabda from the Shiva Sutras, E. E falls down as E for all the languages. And again it repeats itself, adding twice. E plus E is equal to E. And then comes U, the third shabda of the first Shiva Sutras. And it falls down as U for all the languages. And it again multiplies twice for itself, creating U plus U is equal to U. So that is A, E, E, U, U for all the Indian languages. So the mother root for all these and the dialects that we're speaking across the country is just the Shiva Sutras, the 14 of them. Like this, all the aksharas in each and every language forms as different combinations of these 14 Shiva Sutras. And not just that, the grammar rules in what we have in our individual languages are also derivatives from Panini's Ashtadhyayi. And if you spend right amount of time and effort, you'll get to know the truth for yourself. That all the languages have one common mother root, that is the Shiva Sutras. येनाक्षरसमं नायम् अधिगम्यं महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिन्यै नमः. This is one of the first slokas that students will be reciting when they start reading the grammar for Sanskritam. And it says that we are about to recite the Akshara Samamnayam, which are given by Maheshwara, and then we bow down to Panini, who gave the Ashtadhyayi. One should understand why we call the letters as Aksharas. Naksharati iti Aksharaha. The one that never perishes is called as Akshara. That means once you acquire knowledge, that knowledge will never perish. That knowledge will stay with you till end of your life. That shows how high the ethos of India about the language are. Aksharas, and by extension the entire Vidya, used to be treated with a great respect in this civilization. After learning the fact that the Panini's Ashtadhyayi has such an incredible historical as well as scholarly importance, not just in India but around the world in the academic fraternities that deal with the linguistics and phonetics, and also the fact that all the Indian languages have their origin just from one mother root, that is the Shiva Sutras. After learning these aspects, what came to my mind was saying that my mother tongue is the oldest in India and disrespecting other languages which are very well spoken by the people of our very own country. Or if my mother tongue is widely spoken in India, expecting that other states of people should also learn this language, if I take either of these stands, then I should call myself a very ignorant person. Taking pride in our mother tongue is very essential and it's absolutely fine, it's healthy. The problem starts when we start hating another state languages or trying to impose one. End of the day, when the mother root for all the languages is just one Shiva Sutras, what's the reason for us to fight for language supremacy? It surely helps no one. So let's try to understand our shared common cultural heritage and come together as one inclusive and pluralistic Bharat. And as always, thanks for watching.
So the Shiva Sutras, as he mentioned, talks about these languages which are derived from the same Shiva Sutras. So this the reason why this particular topic was interesting is because we've had this common discussion where we talk about the Islamic invasion, and we had before that the British invasion, after that the British invasion, and we also had this Indian language came in, or Indian culture and language came in due to the Aryan invasion. So we spoke about several invasions at some point, and most of these languages were derived or at least stated that they are from the Aryan invasion, the culture, the language, and so on. This particular way of thinking, the person who put this entire presentation together, Project Shivoham, says that it's not an Aryan invasion because, as you are aware, Aryan invasion, Aryan migration theory, Aryan tourism theory, as well as Aryan travel theories, all of these have been debunked by Indian historians as well as archaeologists. There are no evidence for it whatsoever. You could look at the arguments by several people, and they would say the same. The Aryan invasion never really happened, and the traditions and cultures remain uh, the same with India. Now, looking at the Shiva Sutras and how the languages have derived from it, it clearly shows there is no influence or outside influence apart from that of our the original native influence on these languages. And well, that's the take from this particular video. We could, as it's been ruled out already, Aryan invasion theory never really happened. We shouldn't be sticking to the fact that maybe the languages came from Persia or Iran or one of those proto Iranian or Persian languages. Most Indian languages, or almost all Indian languages, are originated from India, and that would be the primary. That was the reason for this particular live stream. Yeah, yeah. Take care all. See you again next stream.